What's up, guys? It's your boy Justin. Welcome to Dungeon Rollers Podcast. Tonight, I should say, I'm reviewing the crime thriller independent film Cold in July, right? Which is also a Texas noir film, or neo-western, as they're sometimes called. I think there's another genre term for this kind of film, but I totally forget what it's called. Today I'm reviewing Cold in July, which is directed by Jim Mickle, who also co-wrote the film with Nick Dalmisi, who's also in the film. Who they did a lot of horror films together, like Stakeland and Mulberry Street. Right, so this movie stars Michael C. Hall from Dexter, Sam Shepard, who was in one of my favorite war films, Black Hawk Down, and Don Johnson from Miami Vice is in the movie as well. Yeah, so back when this movie first came out, a lot of people spoiled the twist of the movie, right, and called it the and would refer to the movie as, "Hey, that's you know what movie," right? Which I'm not going to spoil the twist of the movie until the spoiler section. So I recommend, if for people who are interested in the movie, not to watch reviews for this movie, because they'll spoil the twist right away. All right, except for Mark Kermode. He's like the only other reviewer I know who's actually reviewed the movie, and he's like, did not spoil the movie. So be careful, because I first heard of this movie back on Spill.com, and they totally spoiled the twist. So if you're gonna, I would say just watch the movie. It's on Tubi, right? But I'm gonna talk about the movie. So the movie starts off right away with the suspense when Michael C. Hall's character, which the movie takes place in Texas in 1989, right? Gets woken up by his wife and gets told, "Hey, I heard a noise. Go check it out." And he goes for his daddy's old gun, which is like a really crappy looking revolver that he pulls out of a shoebox that he keeps in the closet, right? Slowly loads it up and finds an intruder in the living room, right? And uh, he gets jumpy and shoots the guy through the eye, right? And that's how the movie starts off, with him with a home invasion, right? So yeah, what happens? He gets, like, he gets interviewed by the sheriff. He's like, "Oh, it's a self-defense case. Don't worry about it. We're just gonna keep your gun for a few days." Oh, by the way, his uh his daddy's out on parole, and he's been in prison for the longest time, which turns out to be Sam Shepard, right? Who Michael C. Hall meets at the graveyard, right, where he watches the guy get buried, right? Because he's very he feels bad about the whole altercation, right? Because the guy was unarmed, right? Even though, if you break into somebody's house, in my opinion, your life, your life is in their hands, right? In my opinion, though there were some times where, like, kids, I feel like if dumb teenagers break into somebody's house and you shouldn't kill them. That's, I feel like that's not okay. But you know what? Whatever. That's not. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the movie, right? So yeah, he feels bad about the whole thing, and after meeting the guy's dad, who subtly threatens him, right? He's like, "Oh, that's very Christian of you to see my boy get buried. By the way, you have a son, don't you? Right. So like the first half of the movie is Michael C. Hall's character, who gets treated like a hero in town, even though he doesn't like it because he took a guy's life, right? He kind of feels bad about the whole thing, right? And the first half of the movie is him getting scared to death that this guy is going to hurt his family, right? Hurt and kill his family, right? And at first the cops do nothing because the guy didn't do nothing, right? Until the guy breaks into his house one time, right? And there's like a very tense scene where the cops have a stakeout that they have the house surrounded, right? And they're they're looking for signs of the Sam Shepard's character, right? Only to find out that Sam Shepard was in the house the whole time, hiding in the crawl space, right? Yeah, like scares the kid and then runs off, right? So, right. So like the movie, so we get to the point where the movie changes direction, right? The main character, who's a framer, right? Which I didn't even know that's a trade. The guy makes like frames for pictures and shit. And after the guy gets arrested, he realizes that he sees a wanted poster for the guy he shot, Freddy something, right? I forget his name. Sorry, I'm thirsty. Freddy, and he realizes that, hey, that's not the guy I shot, right? Which the guy in the Sam Shepard's son's actor is played by Johnny Walker, Captain America, or U.S. agent from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier MCU show, right? Which I've seen that actor in like a bunch of stuff, right? He's a blonde guy, blue eyes. Yeah. So yeah, he starts to think something's up, and he especially thinks that something's up when he sees the cops beat Sam Shepard, put him in a car and leave him on train tracks at night, right? Like while a train's coming. So he saves Sam Shepard, right? And he saves Sam Shepard. He's like, hey, I think the cops are up to something. I didn't kill your son, right? So after they confirmed that it wasn't his son when they dug him up, they call in Don Johnson, who's like a Texan private detective who's an old war buddy of Sam Shepard's character from Korea, right? That they find Sam Shepard's son and finds out that he's been doing some, he's involved in some serious shit, right? And our main characters become vigilantes and decide to take care of business, right? So yeah, that's the movie. I'm not gonna spoil like the second half of the film, right? But yeah, I really like the film, right? It has this, like, people compare it to like gritty 80s movies because it has there is some 80 rock music in the soundtrack, but like a lot of times for the tense scenes, it has this synthwave soundtrack. There's some really cool night shots. And the dialogue, the character work with the actors was really great. Even though the dialogue, it is kind of cliche, southern accent dialogue, where they're uh, they're saying like shit you've heard from like watching like movies that take place in this house, right? Uh, right. But like I thought the character work with the actors is cool. Especially I loved how like everybody looks, including like a lot of people talk about Michael C. Hall's characters, how he looks, how he has the short mullet. He has a mullet in the movie, right? Which is like if you don't you can't even see in the poster because it's so short, right? But he does have a mullet in the movie, right? Though I thought his accent was great. But it's funny, like every time he gets angry at his son, it reminded me of like of King in the Hill, and it's like whenever Hank Hill's like, "Damn it, Bobby," it's like, oh my god, because he sounded just like Hank Hill every time he would get like get angry at his son, which his son is like his name is Jordan in the movie, right? Yeah, there is a cool shootout at the end, right? Yeah, and there's really cool night scenes and there are some cool cinematography in the movie. Um, there is some cool cinematography. I did think at some points in the movie did look a little cheap, right? Especially when they're driving around town and like they went the final location of the movie. Yeah, and the movie started to show its budget, which this movie is an independent movie, right? And I have some other problems with the movie that I can't really talk about until I go and until I go into the spoiler section. So in my opinion, the movie has some faults, right? But overall, I enjoyed the movie, right? It was almost an 8 out of 10, but you know, it's not quite there. But I would say it's a solid 7, and it's totally worth watching, right? If you like the movie like is based off like a pulpy like crime novel. If that's like the kind of thing like you like for like dark thrillers, this movie's worth watching. No, I didn't think the movie was that dark, honestly. But like, yeah, that's one of my complaints. So I'm giving it a 7 out of 10, worth watching. Now I'm gonna go to spoilers. Oh, so the movie is about vigilantes hunting down snuff film makers, like Nicolas Cage's 8mm, which that's how like people talked about the movie back in the day. Like, oh, the movie's about snuff film, the people hunting snuff films. They don't even fucking talk about like the movie doesn't even go into that until like the like more than halfway through the movie that you realize, oh, that movie's what the movie's about, which totally pissed me off. Right, and how they found out about it too was like, wow, that was really Deus Ex Machina, where like they just like they go to Freddy's house, which he changed his name because he's in the witness protection program because he was running with the Dixie Mafia and he ratted on them, so the FBI or whatever I gave him a new identity, which he came up with the name Frank Miller and runs a video store, right? I'm like, oh my god, is that a reference to the comic book writer? I don't know, because the movie is based off like a crime novel by I think is Joe R. Lansdale or something. I never heard of the guy, but sorry, I'm very thirsty. Right, and yeah, how they figure out is like some guy who they call Mexican in the movie, even though he's like the guy's like 6 foot something, man. Does not look Mexican at all. He looks like a pro wrestler or something. Crashes into Don's like car, right? Which Don Johnson's car looks so fucking cool. It's like a red Cadillac or something that has like bullhorn, like literal like steer horns from like a bull or something at the front of his car, right? Right, and the guy who drives like a shitty blue Pinto hits his car, beats the shit out of Don Johnson, and like Sam Shepard Sam Shepard, who's old as fuck, probably a bit too old for the part, beats the shit out of him with a crowbar or something, right? And then they pop the trunk and they find like bunch of videotapes, right? And then they take it home and they see like it's a snuff film, right? Which is like, wow, that scene could have been shot a lot better, right? And give like shot a lot better and like been a bit more dramatic, right? Uh, Kind of like how they handled it in True Detective, right? With Matthew McConaughey watching the fucked up tape. If you ever saw True Detective, which I never saw. I never saw season 2, but season 1 was good, except for the cliche cop drama shit. That shit almost ruined the fucking show, right? But yeah, like that scene, the way they shot it was like the snuff film tape was like very cringe, and it's like how they're killing girls is like with baseball bats, and I'm like, you couldn't get a little more creative with the kill with the how was the snuff film making? Like, oh my god, right? Oh my god. So that was lame, right? And how they handled that, yeah. Though, and then there's the whole fucking thing where okay, this guy gets beat up, the snuff film guys get their shit like one of their tapes stolen. You would think they would be on high security, right? They would be on guard, like, oh fuck, someone stole one of our tapes. They would be on guard or something. No, I mean there were guys with guns at the fucking final level, the boss battle, right? But yeah, they were totally caught unprepared with 3 guys who are armed with like revolvers and like fucking shotguns, right? Not even like the pump action shotguns. It's like the fucking double barrel sawing off shotguns, right? Which I did like how the gore in the movie when it came to the gunfights wasn't over the top to the point where it looked like fake as fuck, like a certain other director how he handles his fucking shootouts. I'm talking about Craig S. Soller. If you ever seen his movies like Dragged Across Concrete and like Brawl at Cell Block 9 or whatever, which I like those movies, but the way he has the over the top gore for what are serious dark movies fucking ruins it. Right. But yeah, the gore was fine. And there's the other fucking thing where I'm going to talk about 2 more things. Where okay, the guy like Michael C. Hall's character, which I forget his character's name. I think it's Richard Dane or something. His name. The guy. Though, let's be honest, we don't know if Sam Shepard's character was ever going to really hurt. What's his name's son, right? Richard Dane's son, Michael C. Hall's character's son. But it's like you would think, the guy would like, hey, I want some assurances or something that if I let you go, you're not gonna hurt my son, right? After he saved the dude's life, right? So that was a little weird. And then like the whole thing, and then there's the whole fucking thing where like, oh, like the guy's in witness protection, right? And like Michael C. Hall's character's like, what? Why don't we go to the cops with the tape or whatever? It's like, Don John's like, oh, the cops know about it. They don't care because the girls are immigrants, right? Or whatever, illegal aliens or whatever. Whitey C. Bulger was the FBI informant, and they turned on him when when he would fucking start killing people, when he started killing people. So like, what the fuck? that was like really kind of dumb. Right, like the movie. It's one of those movies where if you focus too, like there is shit that doesn't make sense, right? But overall, it is. I did enjoy the movie. The movie was good, right? And like people like to talk about the themes of the movie, how like Michael C. Hall's character, after like like the movie's about manhood or whatever, like how he feels like after his run-in with the intruder, he feels like weak or whatever. So the movie's just him him going along with on this quest to uh, it, this quest through fire to steel himself, right, to make him like a stronger man or whatever, right. Uh, yeah, that shit is in the movie, but yeah, I don't really care about that. I care more about the crime noir aspect of the movie, right? The the neo noir, fucking Texas noir crime dark thriller shit, which is good, right? Yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed the movie despite the problems of the movie. I enjoyed the movie, and I would totally recommend it for anybody who's gonna watch it. Which I doubt people are gonna watch all the way through, but yeah. If anybody has any other suggestions for Texas noir films, leave them in the comments. I know I saw online that Red Rock West is one, which is a '90s Nicolas Cage movie with Dennis. Oh fuck, what's his name? Not. I can't remember the guy from Speed. That guy. Yeah, so somebody's gonna get so pissed off because I can't remember that actor's name. Who's that actor? Was a very big deal back in the day, right? Yeah, he was in Apocalypse Now. Okay, are you happy? Peace.